everyone, and welcome to episode 30 of Not the Worsted Knitting Podcast. My name is Michelle, and I am the knitter and knitwear designer behind meeshyfrazz Knits. In today's episode, you might have to excuse me a little bit. I have a bit of a head cold, so I'm feeling a little under the weather. I'm hoping you can't really hear it in my voice. I've got some tea with me. Actually, I have to show you this mug really quick. I know this is like in my intro, but this is my feel-good mug that I recently picked up. Seems very unassuming, you know, little fairy on the dock, and then that. And if you've ever been to the Seattle area and tried to catch a ferry, or really if you live anywhere where you have to catch a ferry, then you will understand the pain of driving all the way to the ferry dock and then pulling up as the ferry is leaving. That has happened to me many a time, so I love this mug and it makes me giggle every time, even though it's very simple. So I have got some throat coat tea in here to keep my throat from feeling too icky. It's already cooled down to room temperature, but we're gonna deal with it. I'm gonna try not to drink too much of this, but it's here if I need it. So because of that, I decided to just put on my coziest, most feel-good sweater, which is my Prismatic Reflection sweater, the striped version. It's got two strands held together the entire time. You're holding a strand of fingering weight yarn with a strand of the natural fluff, which is kind of like a surrey. And you basically hold that natural fluff the whole time, and then you swap out the fingering for each stripe. So the natural fluff and the white color are actually from Wool to Die For. It's just Wool to Die For's Krypton sock and then natural fluff. And then I continue to hold the natural fluff with these three colors, which are from Silly Goose yarns in Plump fingering. So I think it's Coral Reef, Bubblegum, and Ice Ice Baby. And so you've got these very subtle marled stripes, and you also have a diamond motif that is on the front, the sides, and the back. If that showed up, hopefully it did, I have no idea. But this was I just wanted to grab for something a little bit oversized, a little bit cozy, warm, and soft. And this is just my feel-good sweater. So really happy to be wearing this, especially with the bright colors. It's not very bright outside today. It's yet another cloudy day, although it is not currently raining. So that is a plus for being in Western Washington. A not so rainy December day, I'll take it. So that's where we're at today. I do have one big announcement and then just updates on my other patterns, nothing crazy. But my big announcement is that I have a secret test call for a summer tee. So the test call is out now. So if you're interested, I will have the application in the show notes below. I'll probably also send out a newsletter, and I'll probably also have it in my Instagram stories. But definitely take a look at that if you are interested. Now, like I said, is a secret test call, which means that I cannot say much about it at this stage. What I can say, it is a top-down raglan. It is DK weight, and it has some very simple lace detailing. And the test itself will begin January 1st, and it'll run through March 1st. Now, the deadline will be a little flexible. We'll have a little bit of room in there, but we really want everything to be done by April to kind of get things moving so it's ready for the summer. And with that being said, you know, I'll probably send everything out a little bit before January 1st, but I want there to be enough time with this, especially since it is a secret, that I just want people to have time to get the yarn, think about what they're doing. I know it's always a little bit tricky when it is a secret test knit instead of you looking at what you're going to be knitting and then choosing that before you even apply. And so what I mean by secret is that basically you cannot share any photos or information about this until the release date. And it just has to be kept really under wraps because it is secret, obviously. But yeah, so once I choose my testers, I will send them the pattern and the photos of what it looks like. But outside of that, you cannot share photos with anybody. and you just have to keep it under wraps in terms of what it's for. If you would like to ask me questions, definitely feel free. You can email me. I'll have my info is all down below. I also will announce it all at the end. I will give you as much information as I can. But yeah, definitely, if you are interested in having more summer knits, if you would like to have a summer tee for this upcoming summer, definitely take a look at that. It's a really fun, quick knit, and I'm really excited about it. So I've been working on it for the last couple of months, and you know, it just went through tech editing and everything was good. We didn't have any major changes, which is always a relief. So yeah, we're ready to get this guy going. So if you are interested, take a look below. Okay, so we can go ahead and actually get started now. And why don't we start with my works in progress? Okay, I just looked down to grab my works in progress, and I've got a little bagel. He is looking through my bags. He sees the all the loose yarn and is trying to get into trouble. So why don't we start with my advents? So advents. So this is my advent, but not really advent sock for the year. And why I say advent, but not advent is because I am knitting this up like an advent sock, which means I'm doing a stripe a day. But this is not actually advent yarn. So this yarn is from Little Big Knits, and it is her Nutcracker collection. And it is just, it's a self-striping sock yarn. I think it's got 7 stripes. And then it also comes with this really cute, very pale gold contrast color. And so I am doing my Siroc Socks because I thought that that would be a really fun pattern for this yarn. And so what I'm essentially doing, because these Siroc Socks are, it's like a 6-row repeat, I am basically doing a repeat a day, and it's working out to be about a stripe a day. And so that's working out really nicely. Now, I do record this a couple of days ahead of time, but you might be looking at this and thinking that there's a few less rows on here than maybe there should be. And that is because yesterday I was supposed to do the heels and I didn't. So I want to do a shadow wrap heel for these, which means I do the heel immediately. And I just need to get it done. But yesterday I was just really not in the headspace to work on heels, especially because I was making progress on a couple of other things and I really wanted to make progress on those. So these kind of got left. I'm hoping to maybe work on the heels tonight because I do still want to stay on task with these. Fortunately, I have a little bit of leeway because as it stood right now, I think I was going to finish around the 20th of December, just because I'm not doing a super long foot. This is basically the extent of my foot length. So I think we're still okay if I just don't even worry about it and just do the heels tonight. So hopefully by next time the heels will be done and then I'll be back on track with these. But I'm really enjoying them. This yarn is lovely. It's really nice and squishy, and the colors are just really beautiful. It's just kind of like your classic vintage Christmas colors, and I just really love it. And I'm really enjoying the way it's knitting up with this pattern. So that is my progress on the Siroc Socks. Next up, and part of the reason why the Siroc Socks did not get any love yesterday is because I have officially separated the sleeves on my Lyon Sweater. This is a pattern by Petite Knit. It's already putting fuzzies all in my nose. Yeah, this, oh, look at that. I'm just so happy, like just seeing it in the viewfinder, I'm like, oh, look at how pretty that red is. Anyway, okay, so like I said, this is the Lyon Sweater by Petite Knit. And this is, so you start by casting on the back portion, and then you do immediate increases to shape the back. And then from there, you actually pick up stitches for each of the shoulders, the left and right shoulder. and you build out the shoulder a little bit. And then once you build out the shoulder, you pick up more stitches for the sleeves. And then you continue to knit in the round while doing raglan increases until you get to your desired width. And then you separate for sleeves, and that's where I am now. I have, oh man, I have fuzzies all over the place. I've just knit like, I think 2 rounds since separating sleeves, so I haven't done much. But I expect that now that I've done this, this will move quite quickly. Though now that I have done this, I probably should set it aside for a little bit to give my other projects a little bit of attention. I really am hoping that I can get this done for Christmas, but I'm not sure just with the other projects I need to complete. So we will see. And if I didn't mention, I am knitting the smallest size. I did meet gauge, and the yarn I'm using, Newburgh Yarn Co.'s Hudson DK in the color Coleman Red, and that is being held with, this is kind of sad, I need a new ball. This is being held with Fyberspates Cumulus in the color Ruby Red. And together, even though these look very different, together they make this absolutely gorgeous fabric. I love this fabric. I think it's so pretty. It's just that really nice deep Christmas red. So I'm really hoping I can finish this by Christmas, but we'll see. It may not happen, and that's okay. Maybe it'll be more of a New Year's sweater. But yeah, this is, so far, it's a really enjoyable pattern to knit. Really like the construction on the back. And I think it's gonna fit really nicely, and I'm just really excited to wear this one, and hopefully I can wear it for this holiday season. All right, next up on my list, excuse me because I've got Bagel back again. He is, I don't really know what he's doing, but he's looking for attention. I think he's actually trying to get my yarn. I've got like yarn kind of flailing everywhere. And so he's currently trying to get his hands on some of that. His paws, maybe not his hands. Next up, yeah, we're actually moving really quickly, quicker than I expected. So what I'm going to chat about next is going to be Christmas presents. So Thomas, if you are watching this, this is your cue to turn the video off because you can't watch anymore. Okay, so Thomas, you gotta go, bye. Okay. So another reason why my Siroc socks have been a little bit delayed is because I actually made some really good progress on pizza socks. So this is not blocked. So please, when you look at this and think that it looks a little crunchy, just know that it's because it's not blocked. But I have finished one pizza sock and I am very, very happy about it. So what did let's see, last week I was still working on the heel and I was about halfway through the foot. So I did an afterthought heel and that is finished. And then one of the other things that I added, which I didn't talk about last time, is this really fun little checkerboard motif. And I just thought, I don't know, I was thinking about those pizza boxes and how they always have that checkerboard motif. And I thought that would be really cute on the toe. And I am really glad I added that in because I just think that is so adorable. So you've got the breadsticks, the pizza, and then a little checkerboard here. It also has a 3x1 broken rib on the top of the foot. I just did it at the top of the foot because I didn't think it would be super comfortable on the bottom. And on top of that, the reason I did it at all was because I was hoping to cinch the foot in just a little bit because if you watched previously, then you know I've run the gamut of the needle sizes on this sock, as well as going up to a large size to fit. And I didn't want to do a decrease right before the foot because I thought that might be a little bit strange looking. So instead, I just did some broken rib on the foot and I'm hoping that that will do the trick. This is all experimental because he's not trying it on because these are a surprise. So we're really hoping this is going to fit, but I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think it's going to be okay. So yeah, really, really excited about it. Just in case if you are just tuning in for the first time. So this is just a chart I came up with for my husband Thomas. I cast on 72 stitches in a US 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter needle, to do 12 rounds, I think, of 2x2 rib. And then because I'm doing color work, I need to go up a needle size and a sock size. So from there, I bump up to a US 1.5 needle, which is a 2.5 millimeter. And I do knit 9, make 1 right, and I do that to get to 80 stitches. And then I used that needle to do the breadsticks motif. And then I actually had to rework the pizzas in a US 2 or a 2.75 millimeter because the entirety of the pizza motif, you're holding 3 strands, and my tension was just crazy. It was way too tight. So I had to bump up yet another size for the pizza motif and just that. And so then once the pizza motif was done, I went back down to a US 1.5 or 2.5 millimeter to do the breadsticks again. And then after the breadsticks were done, I went down 1 more size back to the US 1 or the 2.25 millimeter to do the foot and the heel. I went back up a size to do the checkerboard and then back down again for the toe. And that is just to make sure that my gauge is all the same and he doesn't have any issues putting this on his foot. So really, really excited about it. Really happy to have the first sock done. I'm not super far on the second sock. So I am about, let's see, I think I'm just starting the 4th round of the pizza motif, and there are 12 rounds total. And the pizza motif, it's a little slow. It takes me a while because it's all 3 colors. I'm also catching floats for all of that, which is quite tricky with 3 colors. I thought about not doing that, but because they're socks for Thomas, I really wanted to make sure that he doesn't like get a toe caught in a float. So I decided to just catch the floats, and it just means that it's just taking a little bit of extra time for me to just kind of think through. When I catch floats, I don't allow more than 6 stitches per 1 color without having a float, because I find that more than that, you can get some puckering, or you'll get floats that are just so big that you can get a finger caught or a toe caught in this matter. So just trying to be really careful with that. But then once I finish the pizza motif, it will be smooth sailing and I'll be able to finish the rest really quickly. What's tricky is that, so I only have a limited time that I can knit these because I have to knit them when he's not in the house or when he's busy working on something. And I was supposed to go out to knit tonight, but being that I'm a little under the weather, I am not going to be going out. 1, just because I don't really feel like going anywhere, and 2, because I don't want to risk giving anybody what I have. And that means 1 less night for me to knit these. So I need to get creative on when I'm going to find time to work on these, especially because vacation is coming up soon, and that means a little bit of extra time where he is just hanging out in the house. So really hoping to crank these out soon. So we're gonna see. So wish me luck on having time to get these done. If I didn't say, I don't even remember if I said or not, but these are knit with Hazel Knits Artisan sock, and most of these are scraps actually from my Trim the Tree socks, as well as my Flocking Good Time socks, which is really fun. It's great that I was able to use scrap yarn for this, and the Hazel Knits Artisan sock base is a really nice, really durable sock. It's a decently thick yarn too, so it gives you a nice, really thick, tight gauge, which I really enjoy, especially for color work. I think it's really good sock yarn for color work. Okay, that actually concludes all of my knitting chat for today. All we've got left today is book chat. So last week I was still reading The Identicals by Elin Hilderbrand, and I have since finished that book. I did not enjoy it. I mean, it was fine. It was not like I hated it reading it, but in the end I was just kind of like, okay. I don't know. I've read a couple of Elin Hilderbrand's books, and I think this is a bit of a theme where, regardless of how awful the characters are, there's not really any sort of resolution for them in the end. Like, everything gets wrapped up in a really nice bow for everybody, kind of regardless of if they're a good person or not. And I mean, maybe that's supposed to be a commentary on real life and how it works. I'm not really sure. The premise is that it's about two identical twins that are estranged. They live 11 miles apart. One lives on Nantucket, the other lives on Martha's Vineyard. And the whole time, one twin has this huge grudge against the other twin where they haven't spoken or barely speak for like 14 years or something like that. And it's built up to be this like really big, awful thing. Like, what is this awful thing that she did? And then you find out what it is, and because you think it's one thing that's really terrible, but it's actually not, and none of it was her fault, and they all know that, and she's just kind of being petty. And yet the other twin is still really apologetic and sheepish around her, and it's like, seriously? And then they just become friends again, and there's like no... Also, and then that twin who held the grudge does something really terrible, like really terrible. And it's just fine, like it's just brushed over and you're just kind of like, what? So yeah, not my favorite. I didn't enjoy it. Also, it's the whole premise, like it starts out because it's supposed to be sort of like a Parent Trap type theme where part of what cracked the foundation to begin with was that their parents divorced and each took a twin, which yes, that's terrible. I really don't like that kind of idea. And it's supposed to be this really pivotal moment in their lives that was really traumatizing for them, which I get. Except in the end, you find out that this happened when they were 17 years old. It's like, you were gonna be moving out of the house pretty soon at that point anyway, so what? I don't know. It didn't land for me. Maybe, I don't know. If you liked it, you know, let me know. Maybe I missed something, but it just didn't. It wasn't my favorite, and it's not a book I would recommend. Again, I didn't hate it. It's not like I couldn't get through it. I just didn't really see the point of the characters and what they were going through. Yeah, so not my favorite. However, what I am reading now, I am really into. So I just started this, and it's called None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. I don't want to give too much away, but it's essentially... It opens in that you're reading about a documentary that is following a story that all started with a podcast. And from there, you start to meet the characters in the podcast and how they meet and how they decide to start this new podcast series and how it slowly evolves and you learn the bigger story of what it becomes. And so I'm still actually trying to figure out, like, you don't really know what has happened, but you know something really bad has happened, and you don't know who it's happened to. And so you're just getting little snippets of the Netflix documentary episode of the opening of a podcast interview. And then once the interview starts, you are actually like brought into that moment in time when the interview happened. And you're starting to like meet these characters and try and figure out what is happening and like who's good and who's bad and who's maybe a little crazy. But I am really enjoying it. It's one of those books where it just kind of hooks you from the moment you start reading. And so this is a nice change of pace from the last couple of books I've read. And so I'm hoping this kind of maintains throughout, but so far I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, so that is what I'm reading. That's what I'm working on. If you have stuck around until now, thank you so much. I'm hoping that I'm not a little bit too scatterbrained, just, you know, because my head's a little floaty with this cold. But yeah, thanks for sticking around. If you are interested in that summer tea test knit, please take a look at the application below. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to me. If you would like to get in touch with me, I am meeshyfrazz on Instagram and Ravelry. You can email me at meeshyfrazz@gmail.com, and you can find me at my blog, which is meeshyfrazzknits.com. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.